Good news is for you and I, Dennis, because I know you're buying some hospitality products. Hospitality operating resorts, operating real estate like that can be some of the most lucrative for investors. And I should probably come up with like the top three reasons why it's lucrative, but I'll do one on the fly because I think you'll like this. For us, the first one is there's tremendous tax strategy when you buy a resort real estate piece. You thought I was going to say good high cash flow. I That is tremendous. I'll say that too. But number one, we're going to buy something that's a big gigantic piece of real estate with a lot of little equipment and buildings, and we're going to do a cost seg, and they're going to get a super powerful depreciable event early in the hold period. And then we're not flippers. So technically they could have a very long benefit of not having those recaptured taxes. So that's one massive surprise when you buy resorts. It's a higher level of depreciation than a multifamily because of all the other operating equipments. Two is it's a lot of cash flow. The best way for a single family investor to understand this is the difference between renting your house out for 2 years at a time or Airbnb it successfully. They'll see so much more cash flow if they Airbnb. Bankers tend to like the long-term hold strategy of a lease, but cash flow is the renter, the Airbnb rent. Well, in resorts, it's similar. And because it's so much extra cash flow compared to multifamily, let's say, that is the third thing. It's safer. And I know you and I were talking about this ahead of time. How can buying a resort be safer than a multifamily? And I think you have a lot to say about that, but that might be where we dig in for the rest of the show.
Yeah, and I also bring up the interesting part about your number two that's on the fly is that a lot of investors who in the last 3, 4 years are like, oh, I want to buy an Airbnb or Airbnb. Airbnb is equivalent to buying a single family rental. When you buy a hospitality, that's like buying a multifamily property because now you get all of that scale that you would see in multifamily. You get it because if you have one Airbnb, you still need a cleaning lady. You still need to coordinate cleaning schedules. You still need to do all of that. However, when you have a hotel, it's a completely different level of scale, but it's the same thing. You still need to coordinate a cleaning scale, all of that stuff. So I think that's such an amazing point that you made. And I know from my experience, the one really interesting part is if you do one single Airbnb, you can't really build a brand. There's no real feel to it. However, once you get into the scale, the Airbnbs or a hotel or a property, now you could have that brand, you could have that goodwill, and it translates to all of your different properties. So I think that's such an amazing point, Josh, that you brought up that you just don't see that when people compare, well, shouldn't I just do a single family Airbnb or should I invest in a larger scale hospitality? There's no comparison at that point.